we are going to do something extremely different today to show that we are not all serious. Well, we are serious about our subject via our YouTube channel, but we do have a humorous side and we can chill and relax. Again, being humorous, having a laugh, etc. So we decided again to do something different, do something humorous. Perhaps you could call it a parody. We watched a movie on Adolf Hitler. It was very propagandic, etc. on a certain website. We had our own ideas. That's why we come to the realisation that the victor of the World War, etc., was pushing an agenda, propaganda. And we came across this, the supposed secret files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation in regards to Adolf Hitler and him being alive and well in Argentina. Most people probably wouldn't know about that, have heard about that. And this is the supposed FBI files. And it reads here, it's from Ben F. Garland, attorney and counsellor at Law Huntingburg, Indiana, USA, August 24, 1945. It states there in the pink, all information contained herein is unclassified, etc., etc. It's got a date there, and it's got some notes over the top of that. Somebody maybe called Spick Kiss or something, or Spick Kinch, something weird like that. Honourable Hoover, Director, he was the Director of the FBI at that time, Federal Bureau of Intelligence, Washington DC. Dear Mr. Hoover, and no, they're not vacuum cleaner manufacturers, it's the real Mr. Hoover. When I write to you, I always get results. I have hesitated about communicating the thoughts herein contained to anyone having thought seriously of writing straight to President Truman in this regard. To make myself clear, I must say that I have never believed wholeheartedly in spiritualism, or shall I say pre-science. However, I, like no doubt many others at times, have had varied and amazing experiences bordering on the supernatural. What follows is not the thoughts of a drinker or one under opiates or drugs, though it may be the or a delusion of a dream. Yet I would not wish to imply that I had dreamed of these matters, neither having had dream or human knowledge of any sort. I conclude that Hitler lives, that his name is now Gerhard Weishaupt, that he resides at Innsbruck in Germany, being in the company of his personal physician, one Dr. Hedel. It looked like Jedi to us, but it's Hedel. My further conclusion is that he or they are at the house of one Frau Frieda Haff. My thoughts have been some on in Goldstadt, but more on the former name as the residence. If I were personally present with you, I could tell you no more than is set out above, all of which may be rank foolishness, but which is nevertheless written to you in all sincerity, with my humble suggestion that Mr. Purvis, he was the former FBI agent involved in the shutting down of illegal liquor in the 40s and 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s, along with Elliot Ness. But by how he's portrayed, he was a dick. He was hopeless, right? But that's in the Elliot Ness movie, and Kristen Bale apparently played that part quite well, actually. Yeah, so he's suggesting that Mr. Purvis check into this while he is in Germany. Regardless of your opinion of this letter or of the results therefrom, please keep the same confidential. As being a lawyer of 22 years' experience, I do not want to be laughing stock or held subject to ridicule. With kindest personal regards, I am sincerely yours, Ben F. Garland. And there's some notes surrounding that, numbers, etc. Is this for real or is it totally fake? We tried to find out online, but haven't quite got across that, haven't found that information yet. Here is probably a reply on August 29, 1945, and it has a number there. the top. Maybe that's some sort of reference or something. Don't really know. Mr. Ben F. Garland, attorney and counsellor at law, Huntingburg, Indiana. Dear Mr. Garland, I have received your letter of August 24th, 1945, relative to your thoughts on the present location of Adolf Hitler. Since this matter is of primary interest to the War Department, I have taken the liberty of making the information you have furnished available to the agency. Your interest in making this information available is indeed appreciated. If in the future you have information of interest to this Bureau, it is suggested that you communicate with the Special Agent in Charge, Federal Bureau of Investigation, 327 Federal Building, Indianapolis, Indiana, USA. Sincerely yours, John Edgar Hoover, Director. And it was D-index, date, etc, etc. Okay, so let's have a look at some more. What do you think so far? It's total hocus pocus. Department of State, Washington, in reply referred to FC or FG, August 30, 1945. The Department of State transmits to the following the attached information in the hope that it will be of value. Military Intelligence Division, Office of Naval Intelligence, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Okay, so they've ticked the FBI. Office of Strategic Services, they crossed it up. Enclosure, copy of dispatch number 6148 from Montevideo, dated July 31, 1945. Subject, theory advanced by German political refugee as to possibility of Hitler's presence in Argentina or southern Chile. And it's dated at 50 of September, that's a number there, some sort of number. September 7, 1945. It's got this writing all over the place. And here's an unreadable letter. The subject, you can't really see it, it's too faded, etc. Okay, here's another couple that look like they're really faded. Okay, here's some more. Hard to read. Even more hard to read. Okay, hypnosis or fact. Shortly before October 13, 1935, a man called on German Consul Jaeger, now in Germany, at Chicago, and refusing to give his name or address, said he would, for an immediate $1,000 cash consideration, divulge details of a plot being hatched among educated Jews or Chicago to send an emissary to Germany to kill Chancellor Hitler, with an additional $4,000 to be paid if the plot were frustrated as a result of his information. On October 20th, this same individual, giving the name of M. Kimball, called at German Embassy, Washington, D.C., USA, with same story and demands. Later calling the embassy by phone and demanding $50,000, saying he was going to New York to see Corman Consul, where he later called by phone but never put in his appearance. No description, address or connections of Kimball available in Chicago. RHC. Letters from Washington Field Office dated 11/29/33 and enclosures and division letter dated 12/11/33. Was that before the end of the war? Details at Chicago, Illinois. Okay, you say that was before the end of the war. Agent contacted German. Is it German or Corman? Gorman Consul General, German Consul General, Dr. Nuring 520, etc., etc. And it's all signed there and dated 21st of January, December 1933, and so forth. Dr. Tannenberg stated that it was not he who had been contacted by the individual in question, but that it had been Consul Jaeger, who is now in Germany. Dr. Tannenberg called the consul file on the matter, and from a report by Consul Jaeger contained therein gave the following information. This report is dated October 13th, 1933, and purports to relate to the circumstances which probably occurred sometime within a week prior to that date. A man called on the consul at 520 North Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, USA, and refusing to give his name or address, stated that he would, for an immediate cash payment of $1,000, give the details of a plot which was being concocted in Chicago to kill Chancellor Hitler, and that he should receive an additional. Okay, it's basically a letter on the side here, but in more detail. Okay, go look at the next one. Do you think this is bogus, total crap, BS, or it's the real deal? As seen from the above, there is no description, address, or information concerning connections of the individual in Chicago. We read that bit on the other one. Referred upon completion to Office of Origin. August 28, 1945, FBI, Washington, D.C. Gentlemen, I truly believe that you will find Adolf Hitler and his Eva, this is bride, right? He married her before he supposedly committed suicide, perhaps even with a child in Japan, as reported by the papers, hidden and perhaps disguised as Japs. Yeah, they're both disguised as Japs. The disguise would naturally be there, and what better country has he had to hide in up to Newtown? So his square moustache wouldn't have been a problem there, because all Japanese in that time had square moustaches. Look at the Bruce Lee movie, Fist of Fury. The receptionist had square moustache. The guy in Enter the Dragon, the Japanese guy, he had a square moustache, probably the same guy, same actor. It wasn't until people started saying, don't have a square moustache because that was Adolf Hitler's moustache. Don't do that, etc., etc. We'll beat you up. Could cause you some problems. Some of your agents better put on their most penetrating glasses. Yours truly, very truly yours. Looks like, is that Purvis? Oh, Ruth Duncan, Atherton Hotel, Chicago, Illinois, USA. And it's got here, no, not really. And it's got some information down the bottom there. It keeps saying the Spicus, or Spic, what is it? SPI, was it SPK, something K? Yes, it's unreadable. Okay, August 31, 1945. Recorded and indexed. There's a number there. And it continues like that. Okay. Office Memorandum, United States Government, dated August 21, 1945. ASAC, Carl Henrik, Washington Field Office, called and advised that the Bureau sent the Washington Field Office a letter dated April 3rd, 1945, containing instructions to contact Norman W. Steinman, who is supposed to have information to the effect that Adolf Hitler is hiding in Argentina. Mr. Steinman was located, and he refused to give his source of information. However, he stated that he would recontact the source and determine if the individual would agree to having his name disclosed. Shortly thereafter, shortly thereafter, the military intelligence requested a name check of the Washington Field Office on Norman Steinman, and it was determined that they were in receipt of the same information and were making an investigation. The Washington Field Office informed Major Simpson that the matter was one within their jurisdiction. During the evening of August 20, 1945, Steinman returned to the Washington Field Office and advised that he had been contacted by Lieutenant Cordell, military intelligence, who had threatened him, and he had absolutely refused to furnish the military intelligence with any information. He stated that in view of the action of the military intelligence, he desired to furnish all information in his possession to the Bureau. Steinman stated that his source of information is Dr. Braun Landau of Winter Park, Florida. He advised that Dr. Landau is connected with the Landau Foundation, Orlando, Florida. Dr. Landau advised him that he has flown considerably in Argentina and that he was recently at a ranch at the base of the Andes Mountains, where he observed some Germans, and it is at this particular point that he claims Hitler is residing with some of his henchmen. This matter is being referred to Mr. Carson, and it is recommended that Dr. Landau be interviewed for complete information. Okay, it was recorded at Index, August 24, 1945. There's a number there, and there's some information here about SAC, whatever that is. Okay, and then there's something here, a letter here that's like unreadable, it's too faded. Okay, here's the FBI radiogram, apparently, decoded copy. If the intelligence contained in the above message is to be disseminated outside the Bureau, it is suggested that it be suitably paraphrased in order to protect the Bureau's cryptographic system. Are these all the people that were witnesses or something, or of that department? It's a declassified authority, and there's the number there. Reference number or something. Okay, here's some letters to Dr. Hoover in this guy's handwriting, probably as proof. Okay, 102 days late, German sub surrenders to Argentina. Mar del Plata, Argentina, August 17th. A German submarine surrendered here today to Argentine naval authorities. The 600-ton craft carried the number U-977 and a complement of 32, including 4 officers, one of whom was Commander Heinz Scasser. The craft was similar to the U-530, which surrendered to Argentine authorities on July 10. The Navy Ministry said the submarine was sighted by patrol boats off this Argentine submarine base at 9:20 this morning, or that morning. 102 days after Germany surrendered, signed an unconditional surrender. The submarine was towed to the base by a minesweeper, escorted by an Argentine submarine. The German crew immediately debarked and was placed under guard. This is supposed to be a real newspaper article, but you don't see the newspaper article heading, right? Like you'd see the Daily Mail or etc. etc. Okay, here's some sort of letter sent to a Dr. Erke. Okay. Maybe that's the original envelope. Looks like it is. And here is the supposed news report. A picture story of Hitler's rise to power and satellites in and outside of Germany who helped him. Well, satellites means like other states, probably. America, the states in America and around the world, South America, etc., that helped them escape, or helped him to do all that he did. Looks like there's a picture of Benito Mussolini there, next to Hitler, who Hitler learned a lot about fascism from, adopted and adapted it, and did better than this guy. Right. Had a hopeless army apparently, and Hitler was like all furious at him because he considered him totally hopeless, because he lost in everything he did. Now here's a letter to Mr. Earl Lamont from Maine, and so forth. This is handwriting, probably, of that guy, before they typed it. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Information there. United States and Brazil. This hideout of Hitler was purported to be beneath a German-owned hacienda, located about 675 miles west from the Brazilian port of Florianopolis, and 450 miles north of Buenos Aires. And so it's information here. When Mr. Steinman was interrogated concerning the source of his information, he stated that a lifelong friend of his had told him in the strictest confidence that Hitler was presently residing in Argentina near the base of the Andes Mountains, and instructed him explicitly never to reveal his name as the source of this information. According to Steinman, this lifelong friend speaks many languages fluently, including German, Spanish, Portuguese and French. Steinman stated that he did not know his occupation, but did know that for the last 20 years he had travelled all over the world, particularly in South America, He stated that he apparently represents various countries and various corporations in many different localities. On one particular occasion, Steinman's informant was selling manufacturing equipment in South America. According to Steinman, his informant had told him that on one occasion he posed as a German national and flew 675 miles west from the Brazilian port of Florianopolis with a group of German nationals. Steinman stated that they landed at a ranch near the base of the Andes Mountains, and during the course of their trip he had ascertained that this ranch was nearby the hideout of Adolf Hitler and a group of his cohorts. On another occasion, according to Steinman, his informant again posed as a German citizen and flew from the port of Buenos Aires, Argentina, 450 miles northwest from Buenos Aires to this same ranch. Steinman stated that his informant could not recall any town near this ranch and therefore could not identify the particular spot in which the purported hideout of Hitler is located. He stated that he had informed Senator Kilgore that the ranch was located 450 miles northwest of Buenos Aires, whereas it was more nearly 450 miles northwest of Buenos Aires. So he's getting it wrong, or he's deceiving him. WFO 109-1. Steinman stated that his informant had been in South America in May or June of that year, of a certain year, and had contacted him in Washington DC, USA, upon his return from South America. It was at this time that Steinman was informed that Hitler was presently hiding out in Argentina. Steinman refused under any circumstances to reveal the sources of information. Again, it's basically the same information. It's like a second copy. What's this here? Okay, it gives history of where Steinman was employed. A check of his personal file at room 190, Veterans Administration Building, Vermont Avenue and H Street, HW, reflected that Steinman was born February 21, 1887 and has been employed as a structural engineer at the Veterans Administration, grade PNS-4 at a salary of $3,800 a year since February 1st, 1945. Prior to this time, he was employed at the War Productions Board and in the Foreign Economic Administration as an engineer at a salary of $4,600 from June 21, 1943 to January 31, 1945. Steinman's file at the Veteran Administration reflected that he was employed for 5.5 years as a bridge designer for the Chicago, Milwaukee and St. Paul Railroad, Chicago, Illinois, USA. He was also employed for a period of 10 years as a structural engineer consultant for the Portland Cement Association, Chicago, Illinois, USA, and for 13.5 years by the Concrete Publishing Corporation as editor of the magazine Concrete. His personal file reflects that his permanent residence, and this guy's address there, at the War Production Board. Prior to his transfer, he received an efficiency rating of very good, dated February 17, 1944. No further investigation is being conducted by the Washington Field Division unless advised to the contrary by the Bureau, and this case is being considered closed. And it's officially got the word closed there. Still think this is a load of crap, or it's the real deal? Let us know in the comments below this video, and we'll get back to you on those as soon as we can, as soon as possible. If you like this video, it's really opened your eyes to the possibility, or the possibility of being total rubbish, total load of garbage, then subscribe to our channel and let us know what you think in the comments below. Give us a like and go share this with all your friends and families and neighbours who are history buffs, perhaps. Okay, and there's more and more of this stuff. Okay, it's quite interesting. We're not too sure about it. We think it's hocus pocus. We haven't found anything online yet to actually prove that it is. There's a hell of a lot of these FBI secrets and all that sort of stuff, online and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, you have to do the research, you have to figure out. If you had an ex-FBI family member or something, that's like, yeah, no, this is crap. Yeah, if they were in a department where they had these personal letters, these secret letters, it says, well, that's not allowed, etc., etc., it's no crap. Because it would have this here, a proper signatory heading or something like that there, how it's, was in those days, they'll be the ones to really debunk it. Okay, they're supposed to be the original envelopes that it was all posted in, received in.